Today on Record Breakers, we meet a 6-year-old boy drumming for a world record.
Piece together the world's longest jigsaw attempt.
Catch up with a man using mighty locks for a record attempt.
And check out Ashrita Furman's latest record attempt.
Because on Record Breakers, we know there's fun makers.
We know there's risk takers.
And there's record breakers.
If people are attempting it, record breakers are filming it. Get ready as we explore the outer limits of human achievement on Record Breakers.
Our first story comes from world record breaker extraordinaire Ashrita Furman. Ashrita is using 16 pounds of aluminium in his world's largest hula hoop spun around an individual's waist record attempt. We'll check on his progress throughout the show.
World record holders conferred to mark the 50th anniversary of the Guinness Book of Records. The book is now the Bible for those wanting to smash almost any record, from fastest to tallest through to speed balloon dog making. The book records some of the world's greatest feats of achievement, with people continually coming up with new records. Craig Keith from Belfast is the current record holder for making the fastest balloon poodle behind his back, saying that making the perfect balloon animal takes the right measurements and copious amounts of skill. Craig is a prime example of people continually coming up with novel ideas and suggestions, demonstrating his well-tuned and practiced party trick. And we're sure the Guinness Book of Records will continue to document some of the greatest and even bizarre achievements made around the world.
Over to Brazil now, where world record-setting pilots attempt to circumnavigate the world via the South and North Poles. 63-year-old Jennifer Murray has already set 2 world records on her helicopter. And while helicopters cannot usually fly at high altitudes and extreme temperatures at the South Pole, the grandmother of 4 sees it as a challenge. Murray, who was born in the United States but raised in England, is undertaking the attempt in a bright red Bell 407 helicopter with British co-pilot Colin Bodle. The pair will set off from New York and will travel south along the Atlantic coast. They then expect to travel north along the Pacific coast, stopping at over 150 conservation sites along the way before returning to New York. With views like this, who wouldn't want to be embarking on this record attempt?
Still up in the air now, and a bureaucrat turned adventurer has attempted to become the first Japanese man to cross the Pacific by hot air balloon. In only the second such flight ever made, 54-year-old Mikio Kanda took off just before dawn from a dry riverbed 99 kilometers north of Tokyo in his balloon, the Milky Way 2. Kanda, the holder of world records for several categories of hot air ballooning, was accompanied by Naoki Ishikawa, a 26-year-old university student. Kanda said he hoped to make the 9,000-kilometer flight in 60 hours. The previous successful hot air balloon crossing was made in 1991 by a group from Britain that included entrepreneur Richard Branson, who flew from southern Japanese prefecture of Miyazaki to Yellowknife in Canada in about 46 hours.
A German woman living in Santiago, Chile, seems to be vying for the world record for living with the most canines, sharing her home with some 110 dogs she began accumulating in 1987. Gertrude Ernst, a former missionary who moved to Chile in 1966, said she just could not say no when it came to canines in need of a home. The German native has another 100 dogs living on a rented plot of land in Colina, some 30 kilometres north of Santiago. Ernst doesn't really recall how her safe haven for canines started, but she enjoys support from a faithful group of animal lovers, volunteers and veterinarians who have sterilised a vast portion of the female dogs at no cost. While there's no official world record for living with the most canines, Gertrude would definitely be a frontrunner, with her living companions continually breeding, adding more to her already extensive menagerie. With all shapes, sizes and breeds of dogs sharing Gertrude's home, it'd be a lot quieter and cleaner to own 110 cats or even goldfish. But that's a whole other record.
A 41-year-old British man who lost his sight as a boy attempted to become the first blind person to fly an aircraft around the United Kingdom. His aircraft, a 4-seater Piper Warrior light plane. Steve Cunningham, who lost his sight at the age of 12, has already broken records for the fastest blind man on land and on water. For this new record attempt, Steve will have a co-pilot but will still be in full control of the plane with the help of talking computer guidance software. In 1999, Steve became the fastest blind man on land, driving a car at speeds of more than 147 miles an hour. In September 2002, he set a new offshore powerboat record in the English Channel. Steve said that he was undertaking the attempt to challenge people's perceptions to disabilities and to raise money for the Royal National Institute for the Blind and the British Deaf Association. The first leg of the trip is scheduled from Biggin Hill to Newcastle.
A glossy British women's magazine has attempted to break a world record in style by putting on the world's longest catwalk fashion show.
It's time to check up on Ashrita Furman as he begins his record attempt. Ashrita's aim is to break the world record for the world's largest hula hoop spun around an individual's waist. We'll be back later in the program to check his progress.
A child prodigy who entered the Indian record books twice as the youngest drummer is aiming for a world record. Sidarthur Nagarajan, a 6-year-old boy of southern Madras city, has his name etched in the Likhma Book of Records, the Indian version of the Guinness Book of World Records, as the youngest ever Indian drummer. Born to a musical family, Siddhartha's debut performance was in 2000, when he was just 3 years old. It was a complete solo performance that lasted 12 minutes. After winning countless awards, it's now Siddhartha's dream to enter the Guinness Book of World Records, and his family hopes he can do it by learning professional drumming from internationally acclaimed drummer Sivamani. The boy's smart parents have also made a soundproof room for Siddhartha to practice to his heart's content his favourite instrument.
Dutch cheesemakers tried settling a record by making the world's largest cheese, weighing 567 kilograms and produced with 5,000 litres of milk. The yellow Colossus, a Beemster cheese, had a diameter of 160 centimetres and a height of about half a metre and took 1 month to make. Under the watchful eyes of the cheesemakers, a forklift truck took the massive cheese and transported it in one piece to the town's 300-year-old scales. A tricky operation as the cheese was soft and could easily break. Tipping the scales at 567 kilos, the heavyweight then had to be tasted. And only after it was agreed that its taste was similar to that of a 13-kilogram cheese, a judge announced that the cheese could be registered by Guinness World Records as the world's largest. Locals of Alkmaar applauded as the big round cheese arrived at the world-famous cheese market in the centre of town.
Nobody has yet volunteered to smoke it, but the 45-foot, 6-pound cigar, qualified as the world's largest Habano, has been placed on display in one of Havana's central hotels. Creator Jose Castelar broke his own record set 2 years ago when he made another cigar just a little over 33 feet long. That cigar remains unsmoked in the tobacco store La Triada in the Cuban capital. Castelar has spent 42 of his 58 years manufacturing cigars in Havana, known all over the world for the quality of its tobacco leaves and their price. Castelar's latest cigar would yield approximately between 700 and 800 normal cigars, and depending on the quality, would have produced up to $11,000. Jose said his next project would be to assemble another cigar 60 feet long, but his main problem will be to find a place to show it and keep it.
At 82 metres high, the world's largest floating Christmas tree graces the lake and skyline of southern Rio de Janeiro. The tree uses 2.6 million lights and 20,000 metres of luminous hoses to form 300 Christmas balls and over 500 stars. According to Guinness World Records, the tree is the largest floating tree in the world and is kept floating by 8 rings that weigh 10 tonnes each on Lago Rodrigues de Frita. The tree was originally created in 1996 as a collaborative work of over 1,000 artists and workers and a cost of over $650,000. Executive producer Edson Gonzalez said the tree is unique to the city, nicknamed the Marvelous City. Every year, the owners of the tree, a private insurance company, and the city of Rio have made the tree a little bigger. In the next few years, they hope to make it 100 metres high in a bid to keep the world record their own.
Not to be outdone by the world's largest Christmas tree, residents of a small German town have made it into the Guinness Book of World Records when they put together the world's longest jigsaw, measuring 1.235 kilometres. Almost 7,000 jigsaw fans of all ages added an estimated 1 million pieces together, stretching through the entire village. Rules set by Guinness meant the jigsaw had to measure at least 1 kilometre. The maker of board games donated some 4,000 jigsaws for the event and had people from all over the village contributing their puzzle mastery, including families who braved the cold and wet weather to be part of the record attempt. According to jigsaw fanatic Carsten Schmidt, Germans spend 20 million hours a year doing jigsaws, and the fans' age range spans from just a few years to elderly senior citizens.
Over now to a record that has been set and broken more times than people care to remember. A Malaysian woman attempted to set a new world record for living in a room full of scorpions, having spent 36 days in a glass box crawling with 6,069 of them. Nur Malina Hassan, nicknamed Scorpion Queen, came out of her glass cubicle measuring 12 feet by 10 feet after 36 days, in which she hoped is a record beyond reach for some time yet. The 27-year-old only left the box for a daily 15-minute bathroom break, even though she'd been stung 17 times during the entire attempt. Nur Malina, who set a world record by spending 30 days with 2,700 scorpions in 2001, won back the title from Thailand's Kanchana Ketaku, who lived in a glass room with 3,000 scorpions for 32 days in 2002, according to Guinness World Records.
Meanwhile, more than 1,200 international dancers closed several blocks around New York City in an attempt to set the Guinness World Record for a new category, the longest choreographed line of dancers. The final tally for the record attempt included 1,278 dedicated dancers who showed up at 6 a.m. on a rainy morning to high kick it to New York, New York. With a light rain falling on Times Square, Raindrops Are Falling on My Head or Singing in the Rain might have been a better song selection. Dance Masters of America, an association of professional dance instructors, organised the attempt. Since the category is new, they're optimistic that they have set a new world record. The participants were happy to show how exciting choreographed dance and setting world records can be, with people of all ages showing up to kick up their heels.
Home to Imelda Marcos, a woman who once gained worldwide notoriety for having one of the world's biggest collection of shoes, the Philippines has unveiled what it claims is the world's largest pair of shoes. Shoe manufacturers in a town called Marikina, known as the shoe capital of the Philippines, banded together to construct these 5-metre-long shoes. Town Mayor Lourdes Fernando said they will register the giant shoes in the Guinness Book of World Records to beat the shoe made by Zahid Otullah of Kenya, Turkey, who came up with a 3.12-metre shoe. Made of black leather amounting to about 1,000 square feet, the giant shoes took almost 2 months to complete. Based on their studies, this so-called largest pair of shoes in the world will fit a 125 feet tall man, or perhaps someone a bit taller than the Statue of Liberty.
Imagine not getting a haircut for over 30 years. 73-year-old Tran Van Hay has not trimmed his hair in that long. The result? A massive snake-like coil of hair piled on his head. Though there's no official measurement to confirm it, Hay claims his hair is about 6.2 metres long. The bulky tresses are firmly rooted and are long and tough enough for Hay to wrap around his body. And while his hair gets him noticed, in his village, Hay is better known for supplying traditional medicines to the community. However, these days, his unusually long locks have been getting a lot of attention nationally and internationally, as Hay vies to get a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the world's longest hair. Hay last washed his hair several years ago and now walks around with his signature scarf wrapped around his tresses to keep them out of his way. The weight and volume of his hair does not prevent him from working and helping other people, and he's looking forward to having his name written in the world's Guinness Record Book.
Elaine Davidson from Scotland holds the world record for having the most piercings on her body.
Back to check on Ashrita now, who's attempting to hula hoop his way into the record books. We'll be back to see if his attempt was successful later in the show.
Now for some Hollywood record breakers you may not be aware of. Producer-director Steven Spielberg, famous for movies such as E.T., Jaws and the Indiana Jones Chronicles and War of the Worlds, holds the record as the film producer with the highest earnings. Spielberg topped the 2003 Forbes Celebrity 100 list, having earned an estimated $200 million in 2002.
Sci-fi action thriller The Matrix Reloaded took a record $42.5 million on its opening day in the US on 15th of May 2003 from a total of 3,603 cinemas, making it the best opening for an action movie sequel in movie history. The Matrix Reloaded set a new record, surpassing the one set in May 2002 by Spider-Man, which took in $39.4 million on its opening day.
It's not all about the screen. The title of the youngest female to top the UK album charts belongs to pop-punk princess Avril Lavigne. Her 2002 debut album, Let Go, sold over 15 million copies worldwide and spawned the massive radio hits Complicated, Skater Boy, I'm With You and Losing Grip. Let Go made #1 in its 18th week in the chart.
The iconic blue and white gingham dress worn by Judy Garland as Dorothy in the 1939 MGM film The Wizard of Oz was sold at Christie's auction house in London on December 9, 1999 for just over $325,000. The garment was bought by a New York City real estate agent, making it the most valuable film costume ever made.
Back over to music, where the biggest selling album by a country group is Wide Open Spaces by the Dixie Chicks, which has sold 8 million copies by December 1999. Within a year of release, the record had gone quadruple platinum and earned a Grammy for Best Country Album. The Dixie Chicks formed in 1989.
Katharine Hepburn is the actress to have won the most Oscars in a starring role. She took 4 Best Actress statues in total for Morning Glory in 1934, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner in 1968, The Lion in Winter in 1969 and On Golden Pond in 1982. Born in Hartford, Connecticut on May 12, 1907, Katharine hit the acting scene in 1928 and in 1933 took her first Oscar for Morning Glory. She crammed 49 films into her career and was given more Oscar nominations, a total of 12, and Academy Award statues, a total of 4, than any other film star.
Original American Idol winner Kelly Clarkson holds the record for the biggest jump to #1 on the US singles chart after breaking a record set in 1964 by the Beatles, when her first single, A Moment Like This, jumped from number 53 to #1 in October 2002.
You're dedicated, you took the time. Wasn't long till I called you mine. Yeah, since you've been gone.
Its first week sales of 236,000 were bigger than those for the rest of the Hot 100 combined.
Well, he's done it again. The man with the most records in the Guinness Book of World Records has successfully spun the world's largest hula hoop around his waist, breaking the existing world record with his hoop 14 feet larger than the previous record set by a Japanese man. We look forward to Ashrita's new record attempt another time on Record Breakers.